A huge meltdown is upon us. We are not just talking about another recession. We are not just talking about another economic cycle. We are talking about a whole currency collapse. A time when your salary buys you nothing. A time when your bank balance is worthless. And a time when the global wealth will shift violently towards a particular group of people, from the hands of the unprepared to the hands of those that understand what is coming. Welcome to the Money Revolution. Of course, this is your podcast where we empower one another to build wealth through the sharing of information and ideas about how money really works. I will be your host, the handsome Masijela Manzo. And in today's episode, we go deeper into what may be the most important conversation of our generation. Not only important for me and you, but also important for our kids and grandchildren. There is a massive wealth transfer that is about to happen. In episode 2, we explained that what is in your wallet is not money, but a mere currency. This currency is essentially just paper. It is of no real value. And in episode 4, we further showed you how governments create inflation by printing more and more of this paper currency than they actually have reserves in storage. In episode 5, we then exposed how the US government is printing massive amounts of currency and how this currency creation is increasing the likelihood of runaway inflation. These are the first signs of an imminent collapse. Now, what happens when there is a currency collapse? We'll see food prices go up, fuel and electricity will go up, school fees, medical aid, everything essentially gets more expensive. But your salary, it stays the same or increases at a rate that is less than the runaway inflation. Now, if you depend on your salary, you are not going to make it. You will not survive. Inflation will eat away at your wages, and that's where the collapse begins. Now, I know that some of you might probably say, at least I've got a back room, right. But in a collapse, both you and your tenants are in trouble. As inflation rises, the rent that you collect loses its value. You raise your prices just to keep up with the rising cost of living. But your tenant's income can't keep up. Eventually, they leave you. Now you are left with an empty room and rising costs. I'm talking repairs, I'm talking rates, maintenance. Everything is becoming more expensive. But the rental income that you are collecting is now gone. When you try to sell your property, nobody is willing to buy. Everyone is selling. Inflation wipes out the tenant first, and then it eventually crushes the landlord. And that's how a collapse spreads. It starts out quietly at first and then quickly with devastating effects. In Hungary, for example, there was hyperinflation back in 1946. Prices skyrocketed, but rental prices did not go up as fast as your food, as your fuel, and other goods. Now, you can see from this table that in 1946, prices increased on average by 3.7 times. Clothing prices increased by 6.6 times. Industrial goods increased by 6 times, but rental prices only increased by 1.25 times, meaning that the increase in rental prices was slower than everything else. Properties stood empty. They were crumbling, worthless. Property owners went bankrupt. And your tenants, they were gone. I guess the question here is, who wins when there is runaway inflation? Let's travel to Germany between 1918 and 1923. Remember from episode 5 that in January 1923, a loaf of bread cost the German 250 marks. By November, it cost them 200 billion marks. Yes, billions. A single gold coin, however, rose from 1 mark in 1918 to 1 trillion marks in 1923. In fact, gold value increased 1.8 times faster than all other goods in the economy. Meaning that if one gold coin bought 10 loaves of bread in 1918, it could buy 18 loaves in 1923. Now, let that sink in. Gold didn't just protect the holders' savings, it grew their wealth during a currency collapse.
Mo Africa, a quick reminder that the paper in your pockets will perish. Gold and silver have stood the test of time. I am protecting my family and our Stockfell savings by accumulating gold and silver coins to ensure that I benefit from the biggest wealth transfer that's coming. Now back to the episode.
Today in South Africa, it takes 18 gold coins to buy a medium-sized family home. During hyperinflation, you might only need 5 coins to buy a medium-sized family home, as property prices will be collapsing. If you think hyperinflation is something that will never happen, just take a look at how many countries have had hyperinflation in just the last 100 years. Let me close with this quote from William Pohl, former president of St. Louis Federal Reserve Bank out in the United States of America, who said, "Central banking is a confidence game. Fiat money is a confidence game. If you don't have confidence in the institutions of society, then lots of things can fall apart. And fall apart, they will. Because this time, it's not just one country. It is a global problem. The collapse is coming. And those with gold, silver, and knowledge will walk away with more wealth after the collapse than before. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Money Revolution. If you found this episode insightful, hit the notification bell below and share it with someone that you care about. To get notified about our next uploads, hit the notification bell below and share your questions with us in the comments section below. Let's wake up the masses. Let's understand how money really works and take back our power, one conversation at a time. And remember, if it's paper, it will perish.